Can you believe that the story of slavery in America began with a shipment of human cargo? That black people, once stripped of their freedom, still suffer from the scars of that past today? In this video, we uncover the full story of the African American struggle in the United States, from the moment they were hunted in Africa to the long road of rebellion, resistance, and racial injustice. It's a painful journey, but one that must be told. The history of black people in America is one filled with oppression and injustice. In 1619, on the shores of Virginia, a Dutch ship named White Line arrived. On board were 20 Africans captured from Angola, sold as slaves to American settlers in exchange for food and supplies. And from that moment began one of the most horrific human tragedies in history, the black slave trade. The white settlers saw in these Africans immense strength and endurance, perfect for hard labor under harsh conditions. They found in them the perfect labor force, free, voiceless, and dispensable. Slave trade quickly flourished. It grew into massive industry, with ships, fleets, merchants, and even hunters. Yes, human hunters, tasked with capturing Africans from villages and cities, chaining them up like animals, and throwing them into dark, filthy ship holes to be transported to America. The voyage was brutal. Dozens of Africans packed together in ship basement with no food, no water, and barely any air to breathe. Many died before even reaching land. Those who survived were sold to plantation owners, forced to work for nothing but scraps of food. If one tried to escape, he was tortured. And if he tried again, his foot was amputated to stop him from ever running. In the 18th and 19th centuries, slave trade became one of the most profitable industries in the US. Slaves were treated like livestock, sold, separated from their families, married off for economic reasons. Because children born to slaves automatically became property of the white master. To cope with the inhumane suffering, black people created a new kind of music, the blues, songs that spoke of pain, longing, and the heavy burden of being born into chains. But the fire of resistance never died. In 1831, Nat Turner, an enslaved black man in Virginia, led a violent rebellion. Though it was crushed and he was executed, his uprising shook the South. Secret underground networks helped thousands of slaves escape from the South to the North. They risked everything for just a taste of freedom. Then came the American Civil War, 1861 to 1865, fueled in large part by the fight over slavery. In 1863, President Abraham Lincoln officially abolished slavery, freeing over 4 million black people. But did that end racism? Not even close. New laws, the Black Codes, emerged to limit the freedoms of freed slaves. They forced them into unfair labor contracts and made leaving those contracts punishable by jail or fines. In South Carolina, black people could only work as farmers or servants and had to pay $100 annually to work any other job, a fee almost none could afford. The legal system refused to let black people testify against whites. Militias and police forces composed entirely of white ensured that these laws were enforced often with terror. Was slavery really over, or did it just wear a new face? White supremacy remained deeply rooted. Whites kept the best jobs, neighborhoods, and schools. They even had priority in public transportation. A black person was required by law to give up their seat for a white passenger. Then came December 1st, 1955. A black woman named Rosa refused to give up her seat. She was arrested, but her act sparked a 13-month black boycott of the buses. It was a turning point. A young black pastor named Martin Luther King Jr. rose to prominence, preaching peace, justice, and equal rights. He led nonviolent protests, endured attacks and threats, even a bombing attempt on his family. In 1963, he led a historic march in Washington, D.C. There, in front of the Lincoln Memorial, he delivered his most famous speech. I have a dream. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. The world was moved. But only 18 days later, white supremacists bombed a black church full of children. In 1965, a Voting Rights Act was passed, giving 5 million black Americans the right to vote. But the violence didn't stop. In April 1968, Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated while giving a speech. Riots erupted, blood was shed, cities burned. His widow pleaded for peace. 13 days later, the Civil Rights Act was signed, guaranteed equality for all races on paper. But on the ground, nothing really changed. Unspoken laws replaced written ones. Many restaurants refused to serve black customers. Signs read, "No dogs, no blacks." White had the best jobs, while black people were left with the most dangerous, humiliating labor. Many whites wouldn't live next to them, marry them, or even let them on the same beaches. Police brutality remained rampant, and most black communities fell into poverty, unemployment, and neglect. Even when Barack Obama became the first black president of the United States, nothing truly changed for the average black American. Hope was there, but justice remained a dream. The story of black people in America isn't just history. It's a living, breathing struggle that still goes on. So did slavery ever really end, or has it simply evolved? Tell us what you think in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more untold stories right here on Janan. See you in the next episode.